Hi, Melisha, welcome. Hi, Pratik, welcome. Hi, Atul, welcome. Hi, Dipanshu, welcome. Hi, Mayank. Hi, Anand. Hi, Tamanna. Hi, Shikha. Hi, Vishal. Hi, Harsh. Hello. Welcome, everyone. So nice to have all of you here today. I'm going to do a quick check to see if everyone can hear me, see me, is having any connectivity issues. Just drop us a message on the chat to say you're doing okay. Yeah, Suraj, good. I'm so glad. Suraj is super like communication. I love it. Great. So thank you all so much for being here this Sunday evening. We're really excited to talk about this. This has been a project that's been close to my heart for a couple of months now. Just looking at the data, one of the great things about being single and working at a dating app is that you learn all of the insider information that there is to know about what people are looking for in someone, in a partner. And so I've put all of that together and I'm really excited to share it with you guys today. We have with us to have this conversation, this really fun and interesting conversation, a comedian, Rupin Paul. Wave to everyone, Rupin. Hi.
Hi.
Some of you will remember Rupin from the podcast that he did with Simran and Siddharth some time ago. He has his own really strong fan following. He needs no introduction. He does a really great comedy set. You can follow him on Instagram. He talks about real life issues and has his like really interesting spin to it. I personally met Rupin not from a comedy perspective, but actually when he was volunteering to teach children English at a school. And so I want to let you know that, outside of his comic side, he also has like a really deep and caring, empathetic side. And he's going to bring all of that to the table with us today. I also have someone else joining us. This is Beck. He's my cat. If he causes technical issues during this call, please forgive me because he likes to sit on the buttons of my computer. So I'm going to try and make him not do that. But if you see any weird typing on the chat, just know that we've got a cat participant today as well. Yeah. Okay, great. So just to start us all off, Ruben, why don't you tell us a little bit about, about how you've experienced, dating profiles, what you think would make for a great dating profile, what you'd be interested in seeing in one, and, just give us your insight into this whole world of what would make for a profile that you would respond to.
Right. Okay. I think like one of the first things, like I think most people, as a guy, as a dude, right, like who's navigating, like these people who navigate the single world, the first thing they would check for in a girl's profile is her photos, right? And the other thing is like the second thing is like how open she is to have a conversation, and you can kind of predict that through her profile. But mostly it happens when you start messaging that person, right? When you start texting her, and then you kind of get an indication of how open and approachable she is to have a conversation. So that's something that I would look at about how open and approachable she is. Like if the person whom I'm trying to approach is really aloof or is really difficult to have a conversation with, then it becomes really difficult. And I think also the fact that if you have like indicators of stuff that you like or things that you've been doing or activities that you're involved in, like when I see her profile, I'd be like, okay, this is a couple of things that we have in common. So when we have a conversation, it becomes easier to direct that conversation into something that becomes a little more deeper conversation, just opposed to saying like, hi, how are you, how's your work, and what do you do apart from that, right? So I think like having something in common it definitely plays a huge role, and which is why it's important to like list out. To like basically make your profile sing about what you are really passionate about. So I would think I would list that as the three things. Like the first thing is her photographs, pictures. The second thing is how approachable and open she is to have a conversation. And the third thing is about what are the things that is interesting. So I know like we have some common ground, or whether we'll be whether we'll make for a good pair. So I think that's the three things that I would list out. What about you? Like, what do you think women look for in a profile? Because if they get a message from a guy, right? Like, so how would you know? Like, I'm going to reply to this guy or I'm not going to reply to this guy just based on his profile. How is it for a woman or a girl?
Yeah, and I think actually that's really the golden question, right? I can imagine that that's why a lot of our participants are here today. They're just like, what do I got to put on my profile to get some of these responses going? And I think that that works both ways, both men and women. I think have this question of what do I have to list down on my profile? How can I improve it in order to get those responses? And what would be great is for you guys who are, at home and on this chat, to maybe drop Rupin and me a message and on the chat box right now and say, what are some of the things that you look for in a profile to know that you're going to definitely respond to this person that sent you a message. And I'll talk a little bit about what our data has shown and what I've seen in terms of the trends, from Flow and analyzing our data. So the first data that I'll talk about is actually, it's called Single in the City, and it's an annual survey that Flow has been doing for a few years now. And we've asked the question to many people, over many years. And so the trend, has we've seen it over time grow. And the first question that we ask people is, what is the reason actually that you're single? Because I've personally met so many Flow members, and when I meet them, they're really charismatic people, very successful. They check all of my boxes personally, and I kind of understand, why are these people not with someone? And so when we ask people the question, why are you currently single? The top answer, over 73% of people say that they haven't met the right person yet. So when you think about it from a profile perspective, it's a really short blurb that you have, or like just a few photographs to do a snapshot of your life. You're really trying to convey who your most authentic self is, because that's who, the other person is trying to connect with. And so they're going to be seeing like, oh, is this person going to be the one that, I am able to relate to? Is this going to be the right person for me? The second thing that we've seen in terms of trends that, earlier people didn't think about dating apps as the best way for them to meet their life partner. People thought of it either as like a hookup scene, or they thought of it as like a, marriage, matrimony, that kind of scene. But where we sit with Flow is quite in the middle, which is you're looking for a serious relationship that leads to marriage, but it's not necessarily like marriage immediately. And so the kind of profile that you're trying to build needs to also convey that intention of like, I'm looking for a serious relationship, I'm looking for a serious partner. And this is not to say it in so many words, but to list it out in terms of, how you are prepared, how your life looks, so that somebody can understand that they need to enter your life in that way. And the data shows that while most people would right now like to meet their life partner in a really organic way, the second one is through friends. And then the third one is actually through dating apps, which is quite a change, because a lot of times, before, dating apps were only seen as hookups, but now they're being seen as ways to really truly meet your life partner. So I think communicating what your interests are is really important in terms of being able to, finally find the person that you're looking for. And then we'll come into, what are actually some of the main things that each gender looks for in a profile. And we've analyzed over 300 profiles now, those that are doing best and those that are not doing as well in terms of responses. And over here, I want to give you guys a few caveats, okay? Because getting a response or getting a large number of responses doesn't in any way mean that you're going to get the response from like that one person that you're looking for. So if you make all of these changes, please don't think, okay, I'm going to go out tomorrow and like Prince Charming or Princess Charming is going to show up from someplace. You still have to do all of the work to make sure that, you're in the right mind space to meet that person. But this is what our data shows. There are 4 indicators for each gender, and the indicators are slightly different based on gender, but there are some that are also similar. And like Rupin, this is, exactly what you were talking about, which is for, what do men look for in women? You're totally right. They look at profile pictures first. That's number 1 on their list. The second thing that we see is also what you mentioned. It's in terms of approachability. Does this person not only look like, someone I would want to connect with, but are they also, do they, yeah, go ahead. Hello? Someone said that, hi. Hi, it's me. I can hear you. Is that Siraj? Tarun?
Oh, not me.
Rupin? Okay, if you have a question, just drop it in the chat box because I don't hear your question. So can you please check it? Okay, great. So the 4 indicators for what men look for in women. One is profile picture, just like Rupin said. The second is approachability. The third one is indicators of like physical fitness, something fun. And I think fitness has become a part of our culture, even just outside of dating. And so people are definitely looking for those indicators in your bio as well. And the last one are indicators of what I like to call culture. So this could be books that you're reading, shows that you're watching on Netflix, hobbies or interests that you have, and these kinds of things. So any bio for a woman should definitely include, something to make you seem approachable and fun, something that indicates that you have interests outside of work, and also something that indicates, what kind of cultural things do you like to do? So books, movies, travel, art galleries, hobbies, whatever it is that your interests are should definitely be portrayed. And I'll pause here to, just check in with Rupin and see, like, does that sound like something that would make sense to you, Rupin?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how about you guys? Like, do you have any questions? Have you seen that, these are actually the kinds of profiles that you relate to? If you were to get information like this, would that be valuable to you? Yeah, I can see you guys nodding along. Do you have any questions at this point? Okay, super. I'm going to move on to talking about what women are looking for in men's profiles. And here it's actually quite interesting because I know a lot of men tend to think, oh, women are also just like us and they're looking at profile pictures and that's, the only thing that they care about. And I actually want to point out that this is one of the differences that I saw in the genders. While men are definitely looking at profile pictures, and I can talk a little bit about what kinds of profile pictures work best. With the women looking at men, profile pictures was actually not the biggest deal. You definitely need to have a picture, but you don't have to have like many pictures or outstanding pictures on your profile. But what's really important and the trends that we see with women looking at men is in the bio. So writing out that bio, putting in that description is actually really important to women because they are reading it. So guys, like, definitely spend some time, download Grammarly, and make sure that you fill in that bio, make it really robust. The advice that I have for you here is try and paint a picture with the bio that you create. You don't want it to be just, basics. You really want to put in some effort into giving someone an idea of what your life is like. So just like with women, there are 4 indicators for men as well. The first one is, I wish it was different. I wish I could be politically correct here, but I mean, I'm just going to tell you what the data says and we can talk about it. But the first one is an indicator of financial success. And this means that you're talking about either education or job or designation, something to do with, being well settled, any kind of indicator that you've actually, you have a job and that your career is taking a particular path that you have. And over here, I want to say that, in the top ranking profiles that we see, it's men from many different areas of work. They're not all investment banker, doctor, lawyers. That's not at all the point that we're making here, but it is that your bio includes indicators of like financial success. The second one is similar to with women, indicators of physical fitness. And like I said, I think this is just an emerging culture right now in today's world. Cult fitness is taken over. So many of us do yoga. There are apps for it. So if you want to talk about, I play badminton on the weekends. I like to go on long hikes. My friends and I go running. I like cycling. Any of these things are really valuable to put on your profile. The third one, again, is similar to women, and this is indicators of culture. And again, over here, I've traveled to these places. I like to eat these foods. I have an interest in stamp collection, whatever it is that works for you is really valuable to put on that profile. And the last one, with women, we saw that the men were looking for indicators of friendliness, indicators of approachability, but women are looking for, in men, indicators of values. And over here, you see the words trust, loyalty, kindness. These are words that show up a lot on people's profiles, and they tend to do well. Women are looking to know that you have some kind of value system that you follow, and it's good if you portray that in your bio. We see that the top trending bios do include all of these things, when they're being listed out. And so there are a couple of more points that I'll make, in terms of, many people I know will have all of these things listed out, but I can give you some more input on how to customize that for you and how to make it work for you. But again, I want to just pause here and see, if we have any questions or anyone that maybe vehemently disagrees with this data, just share with me your thoughts, and let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, I got a question, Dipti.
Can you say your name, because I also can't see you, don't know who this is.
This is Siraj.
Hi, Siraj.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I've been a part of the Flow community since about August last year. And before I joined Flow, I've been on Bumble, Tinder, and all these dating apps for about 5 years, off and on. And many times, especially on Bumble, I noticed that when we're talking about each other's profiles and what women are looking for in the guy's profile and what guys are looking for in the women's profile, many times I've noticed that a lot of women, at least every time I open the app and I'm looking at profiles in the bio, many times the names are not given. So there's just the first letter of the name, the first initial letter of the name. And secondly, there's not much of a bio given. Many a time I've come across this, there's nothing given.
Absolutely, yeah.
So then on what basis or on what criteria are we to go ahead?
Yeah, Siraj, I think that's a good question. My response to that would be, you do have a lot of people out there that don't have profiles, that don't have fully built bios. And I think you're answering your question yourself, which is, how do you reach out to that person, right? Why would you reach out to that person? Would you leave them a text message?
Yeah.
Probably not. And I think that answers the question and the point of this conversation, which is, if you don't build a bio appropriately, you don't put in those photographs, if you're not sharing that information, people are not going to want to reach out to you. So if you're seeing a lot of that content on other dating apps like a Bumble or any other app that you mentioned, it's probably because it's probably one is they're not going to be getting any messages. Those people, those profiles out there, they're not going to be getting anyone that's trying to connect with them. And also, you don't know if those are real profiles, right? You don't know if they've been verified. What the authenticity of that is. So I would say, if you're looking for a serious relationship, you're looking for someone, to commit to, you would really have to think about, do you want to spend a lot of time reaching out to someone that hasn't spent the 15 minutes to build their bio? Because if they don't spend that time to do that, how much time are they going to spend in trying to build a relationship with you? Rupin, do you want to add to that from like the male perspective? What do you think? What do you see?
I mean, regardless of male or female, if like there's a person who just puts their initial out there or doesn't even write a bio, it's equivalent to like, you know, like that person doesn't care about being approached at all. So I wouldn't even worry about, you know, messaging that profile because clearly that person is not really cool with the fact that he or she is on a platform where there are other single people who could approach them. So I would definitely move on to another profile of a person who's more open to having a conversation or open to sending a message. But also, like I think that while I can address this, Dipti, if you could shed some light on this, like I probably, this is my guess, like when like he was asking, when Siraj was asking us a question, like probably it just hit me like probably the other side of it is that like women are probably scared of getting stalked or getting sent messages on like other social media platform, which is why they don't want to reveal like their entire name. So what would you say about that?
Absolutely. And I think that's also the point that Rachita is making on the chat group. So she's right. You know, Bumble and many other dating apps, they don't display your full name, you know, because you may get stalked or you're concerned about, you know, what people would do with that information. And over here, like my advice is that, you know, this is a very personal call. How much data we choose to share, how much of ourselves we choose to put online. And this is to also answer, you know, the question that I got in the private chat, which is about Instagram handles. You know, I've given out an Instagram handle, you know, to other people that I've seen on dating apps as well, because it's not as intimate as sharing an email ID, but it's still intimate enough to, you know, have a conversation and for someone to see more of your profile, but they're still only seeing what you choose to make public. And so my response to this would be, you know, it is a very personal decision what kind of data you choose to put online. And yeah, Rachita, go for it. Like, just unmute yourself. Welcome to hear from you too.
Hi, Deepthi. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rupin. Hi. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. And yeah, it is a little weird to come across a profile with just the initial and a very little bit on the profile aspect of things. But in some cases, I think, especially on larger platforms like Bumble and Tinder, etc., it does become, I think, a little necessary to maintain privacy. Because I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, if you Google my name, my full name, it's extremely easy to find me, including my house address, including the place of work, everything comes up. So yeah, so all people need to know about me to find me is not even my full name, my first name, my city, and my profession. That's it. And they can absolutely pinpoint me. So that is a bit scary because you don't know what kind of people are there, right? I mean, I'm extremely trustworthy as it is, but still you don't really know what sort of people are there. So it becomes a little dicey to give out all the information to everyone right up. So what I generally do is once I do start getting to know someone, starting to talk with them, and sense a bit of trust there, sense that they're not psycho killers, then I have no problem actually revealing whatever they want to know. So it's just the platform that matters. But when it comes to Flow, I'm much more comfortable because I know y'all have done a little bit of background vetting of all the entrance on the app as it is. So I know there's some groundwork that's already been done. So it's easier for me to trust people. It's easier for me to put up information without being afraid on the privacy aspect of things.
Yeah. One additional thing I would encourage you guys to do, and this is slightly off topic and tangential from the discussion that we're having right now, but I would encourage you to do it regardless, is to check out the safety protocols on any of the dating apps that you're using. I know that there are many dating apps out there that have a fairly like black and white policy on how they deal with user reports. But a lot of times, when you do report a user, it's important for you to check and see what happens, to that report. And I wouldn't be able to speak about, what other apps do, but I can tell you from a Flow perspective that we always reach out to both parties. And if you've ever reported someone, we do call you to ask for more information, and we do close out that loop with you, and we take necessary and also very harsh action against people that get reported. We're very particular about curating the networks. So I would advise you to, just check out your own apps, whatever it is that you're using, to ensure that if it ever came to a situation that you had a problem with that app, what would be the kind of action that they would take, and what would be the kind of accountability that you would be able to exercise over them, under those circumstances. Yeah, for sure.
I have a question with respect.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, I think Rachita, what her name? Rachita was Rachita, right? I got that. So I think she mentioned an important point. Like in her case, for example, if you put her name in, right, and you put a profession and what she does, like it would pinpoint it to her exact location. So do you think that could be a reason why women users are not as descriptive on their bios, because they are afraid of people finding out too much of information, which is why their bios will be really short, to an extent where it just says like, hey, message me and find out what I am about and what my life is like, or what I am like as a person. So do you think that could be a reason? And if it is, how could we get around that?
I think that is a very, very valid point, because I, again, am one of those who doesn't share too much on my profile, particularly about what I do and about my interests, etc. Because somehow I think it kind of biases people. Even before talking to someone, if you have a background story, you have a built-up image in your head already about how they would sound or how they would behave, and that I think kind of interferes with your judgment or your assessment of that person when you actually do meet them or when you actually start talking to them. So having a bio, the basics is important, but giving too much also I think is a negative, because it builds up a certain fixed image that people find it very hard to break. The first impression is already set on that bio or the profile, so that it can act counterweight as well.
Yeah, let me give you the
not just women, it's with men as well. Men as well, if they put a lot on their profile, even me, I build up this impression that I may not even like the person without even talking to them or giving them a chance. So it can go both ways.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. And actually, that's a great segue into talking about some of the nuances to the information that I gave you guys about, having your profile built and the 4 indicators for each gender. We found actually that there are a lot of profiles out there today that do have each of these 4 indicators. So for example, you'll have male profiles that not only have a great profile picture, but also talk about their jobs, what they do, where they went to school, physical fitness, their values that they have, the culture that they exercise, and still are not eliciting responses. And I get this question a lot from users. They're like, I did everything, my bio is really well fleshed out, but why am I not getting any responses? And over here, there are 2 things that we need to talk about. One is you can have everything in your bio, but then there are lots of negatives and caveats to it. So like, let me give you an example. You could have someone who says, I'm really funny. I'm the most like humorous guy that you'll ever meet, but I'm only funny when I want to be, and you got to work for it. Now, like, this is already a negative, because you're like, I'm only funny when I want to be, and I don't know if you're going to be worth it. So the woman's already thinking, she's like on a back foot here. We've had other profiles that I've seen where people have said, I've written all of this, but it's not going to matter in any case, because you're not going to read it, you're not going to like me, you're not going to respond to me. And those kinds of negatives in any profile will definitely, reduce your chances substantially of receiving responses. The second thing, and I think this is very related to what Rachita is talking about, is how to share. Now, no one is asking you to share personal and private information, especially if you're the kind of public personality where people would be able to come back and find you and find more information about you than you want to share. But there are ways of being descriptive in your bio that paint a good picture of who you are authentically without giving away personal information. So, for example, if you talk about, oh, I like to spend my weekends watching Netflix and chilling at home, paint more of an image of what that's like. So you can be like, I just finished watching Money Heist season 2, can't wait for season 3 to come out. My favorite snack with the show is buttered popcorn and some chocolate. Now, over here, you're already like sharing more information. It is authentically you, but it isn't in any way personal or private information. Nobody can Google which girl likes buttered popcorn and Money Heist to be able to find you. And I think that's the balance that we have to strike, because if you're trying to attract the right person into your life, but you're also not sharing enough information for someone to be attracted to that profile, you're going to find it hard to to really get those kinds of matches that you're looking for. So try and be intelligent about the way that you're building that bio out by sharing enough information to paint a picture, but hiding or withholding personal information so your safety is always protected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It sounds. I have just a small addition over here. After hearing what Rupen and you have said, it sounds like the communication has to be absolutely. You require a lot of focus on it. Like you said, I really like the example of, the Netflix, instead of just saying I like Netflix, to give it a little bit of color commentary. I think that gives you an insight into the personality rather than the personally identifiable information. So my sense would be, even for men and women, for both of genders, to actually make it a little more colorful. If it's just like, and keep it positive. The other point that I think, that you mentioned, there's already, forget about coronavirus, even before that, there's already like so much anxiety and negativity, and, everybody's on these various apps. If a person is negative, I think that's immediately
Siddharth,
in the zone of like getting.
Sorry?
Siddharth, you're breaking up.
It's fine. My connection is a little weak. You guys carry on.
You want to just turn off your video and complete that point, because we lost you midway.
I was saying that, being positive is also, like you mentioned, really critical, because a person's just not going to get any love, male or female, if they're negative. Yeah. And that's going to be like the first strike, you're not going to like my profile. Yeah, okay, I don't like it already. Bye. So anything that is negative, I think, is going to be a huge red flag.
Yeah. Rupen, do you have any advice for us on like how can we build bios that are witty and humorous, fun, without giving too much?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned, I think it is a play on language. And Rupen, you're a communications expert. You're a professional communicator. Maybe we should ask you, in terms of like how do you weave something that's authentic, because it shouldn't be like something that you're copy pasting from somewhere else. But like, what advice would you have for a person who is not particularly great with words, but at the same time needs to be expressive, like something that's a little prescriptive, but not, templatized?
Right.
I do have a few thoughts, but I'll let you go first, Rupen.
Right. Okay. I'm going to let you handle most of that question, because even I don't know if I'm a great person to answer that. But I definitely, like, humor does play like a huge role, because like just take into consideration what we were talking about, right? Like, you don't want to give away too much in your bio, because you still want to have something to chat about, right? And like it makes for a great conversation when you're trying to find out more. But you still need like a line that is descriptive of that person's attitude. And you can easily find if a person is open just by how he or she is willing to laugh at himself or herself, right? Like I remember a long time ago seeing of a profile of a girl called Urvashi, right? And her bio was the best bio I've ever seen. It was just one line. It was pictures of her. It was just one line. And the bio was, I'm tired of people asking me to take it easy.
Oh, because
People ask me to take it.
I'm tired of people asking me to take it easy.
yeah, there's that song, right?
Clever.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Take
Yeah,
it.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I really don't know like how. I mean, she's obviously a better writer than me, and I'm a professional, so I don't know what that says about me. But like, I think the only way to do it is to put some effort into it, because like we put so much of effort into things like profiles that don't really matter. Like for example, a LinkedIn profile and all of that. We spend like 10 minutes every day and all of that. So I really think it makes sense to think of something that is quirky and is very descriptive of you as a person. And even if it's just like 3 lines, right? That could be like a great way to start finding something that's a really short line, but something really quirky. But you got to put some effort into it, and the only way to do it is don't just do it in 1 hour. Take like you can even do it over think about it over a day, like at the side of your head. You can keep thinking about it, and then come up with something.
Absolutely. And actually something that we advise, people that ask us about profile pictures all the time is to try and have someone of the opposite gender, maybe a friend, brother, sister, cousin, colleague, literally anyone. If you can't find someone, please drop me a message and I'm happy to do it for you. But have somebody look at your profile, somebody that's not you. And it really always helps to get like a third person perspective. Sometimes the pictures that we think that we look greatest in are actually not our greatest pictures. And also sometimes, the bio that's really funny and witty to us is like a joke that may be lost on someone that doesn't have the same context as you do. So it's really good idea to have someone like Rupin maybe check out your profile and try and give you some advice on, how to word something differently or maybe choose a different photograph. I will make a note here on photographs because I think a lot of people believe, in their heart and soul, like that people only look at photographs and nothing else matters. And if I'm not an Instagram influencer, like, stone cold hottie, then nobody's gonna like fall in love with me and I'm gonna be alone forever. Trust me, these thoughts have been through my mind as well. And I'm so lucky because that's actually not at all what the data shows. We have a lot of photographs that are very simple, even selfie photos that are taken. But the things that they do have in common is that they usually portray really smiling faces, just authentic happiness, joy coming out in the photograph. And they also usually do have very good lighting. The quality of your photograph and the light in your photograph today is actually very important. I personally think that this is because people have become accustomed to seeing high quality images, whether it's on WhatsApp or on Instagram. The image quality that we're receiving today that we're just bombarded with every day is significantly higher than it used to be before. And so that is something for sure that you need to take care of. But that's not to say that you have to go out and, have a photo shoot or hire a friend of yours to follow you around all day getting like casual images. Selfie photos are fine. Just try and get really good quality lighting and smiling. Just try and get a genuine smile. Think of something that makes you laugh. Watch one of Rupin's videos before you take your photo.
I have one more, while we're on photos, I have a couple of points. One is, some things that I see at Flow, which, and I'm obviously not on any other app, but what I see very often is both men and women in group shots. And I find that a little confusing. It sends me so many mixed signals. And especially if it's with the opposite gender. So I don't know, what do you guys think? I mean, if a guy is with a girl and he's put that up there, is he think that, I'm trustworthy, so this hot person's like hanging out with me, or is it my sister, or is it my cousin, or I find that very confusing,
Not even
and I find that even girls do that, there'll be like a group of girls and I'm like, who are you? Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you put up photos in groups, and what's the rationale behind that?
Yeah, it's really confusing when there are 3-4 group photos, because it takes a while to figure out which one is the actual person whose profile that you're looking at. And also, I don't get the concept of extreme far shots. They'll have a whole panoramic view with mountains and lakes, and then the person is like a speck on the horizon. I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? I mean, superb photography, but that's not going to tell me anything about you. And another point for photographs is a lot of people put really, really old photographs up. So when you look at them, they're all like, wow, beautiful looking and, you know, super fit and extremely athletic and all of that. And then you meet them in real life and I'm like, okay, did you eat the person on the photograph in your profile? What's happening? So, yeah.
Yeah, let's hear from some of the guys as well. Like, guys, you must be seeing some photographs that really annoy you. Like Vijay, Anand, you know, why don't you tell us what have you been seeing? And you know, what is your take on profile pictures? Go for it, Vijay. I can see you. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. So as I think it was Rachita, right? As she mentioned, the picture should be quite recent, which generally is not. Like, especially that's with girls, I must say, because they want to look the best in their pictures. So yeah,
Filters are the worst.
yeah,
No
yeah,
filters.
exactly. So I think we should try to post some pictures the way we are.
You know, I mean, I think the
And
one
bring
place
some
where
community.
the one place that I might have a differing opinion with you, Dipti, if I'm really, you know, really looking for a serious relationship, it's something that's, you know, on my things to do on my front burner of my life, right? I might actually invest some time, especially as a guy, actually both guy and woman, you know, getting a good set of photos shot and with the right lighting, because when you say something like lighting, a guy like me has no idea, right? I mean, I don't.
Outdoor shots. Try and get morning or evening.
Yeah, but someone has to tell me that, right? So I don't have. I'm just saying it, you know, for everybody's benefit. I wouldn't hesitate. For me personally, if it was something that was important for me, I'm spending all this time, more than the money, I'm spending all this time on dating apps, on some might be on matrimonial sites. There's just an enormous amount of effort that's being put in over here. So just like you would, you know, put your best foot forward when you're, you know, when you go for an interview as a guy, you're probably going to research the company, you're going to research the dress code. And if you need a suit, you're going to buy a suit or borrow one. I think getting a friend, and, you know, today the beauty is, you know, any good phone, any high-end phone can take spectacularly good photographs. But I do think that, you know, and of course, every second person's a professional photographer, including a lot of my friends. So I would say, like, you know, I would invest a little bit of time in like really getting good photographs. And, you know, as a CEO, I can tell you, I do that anyway, because we are sometimes covered in the news media. And so I actually got the whole set of founders, and, you know, we spent like half a day literally getting shot professionally, just because, you know, whenever the media writes to us and I say, okay, here are like 15 photos of us, choose what you want. And that's why you'll see like a lot of our PR coverage actually gets photos. So I do think that photos are like important enough to invest in, especially if you're looking for something serious. I mean, if it's, you know, casual and you don't really care, it's like not on your priority list, hanging out on the apps, I think it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. And just to, like, you know, expand on Mayur's question about activity photos versus, like, you know, stand still, look straight at the camera kind of photos. I think we've seen a lot of really good profiles that do have people, you know, doing various activities. My advice to you here, though, is that if your activity is specifically scuba diving, because we see a lot of these, you know, a lot of times you've got the gear and you can't see your face with the gear, so kindly remove it before you take your photograph. that would make it a much better photo. And with other kinds of activities, it's similar, like cricket or any kind of sport. If you want to portray that as your activity, try and get a good close-up shot and something where you're smiling or where you're looking into the camera, even if it means that you have to pose for this picture. Try and get a friend or someone that's with you during this activity to take something that looks, that's really showcasing your face. That's the number one thing that people are looking to see, and try and make sure that you're also smiling in that photograph, because it adds to that value system of being approachable and being friendly. And we see that people with those kinds of profiles tend to get better responses.
I just want to add something here as well.
Yeah, go for it, Gurpreet.
So my best friend, who's a guy, he was on Hinge for like a month, and we did a little experiment with his profile. So he told me he wasn't getting any matches or likes, so I asked him to send me his profile and pictures over. So, and Hinge has an order as well. So we changed all, I think there were 5 pictures, and we changed all of them. I went to his Facebook, picked the 5 pictures I think would look great. And that experiment has resulted in a lot of love that he's receiving on Hinge now. And I think the difference was that his idea of himself and the pictures he was using were very mature, like somewhere where he's not smiling. He's in some Nehru jacket, standing at a wedding, looking very like, this serious, mature guy. That was the top picture. And then we changed it to him having a good time with his friends. Like it was his solo picture, but he was laughing and it looked like a very candid, nice shot. It wasn't HD, but clicked from a good phone. And then we mixed it up with one of travel photos. So just to show that, I'm having a good time, I'm a nice guy. And then we used one of him being very thoughtful. So he's like reading something. And I feel like when you're being more approachable, like you said, and it comes through your pictures as well, instead of you posing for something, looking really like cool and then not having a smile, which I think a lot of guys try to do. They don't want to smile too much. They want to look really like this sort of tall, dark, handsome sort of a persona, which I don't think is working anymore. So you do want to look approachable, fun, smile, and so that we feel as women that you're somebody who's just nice and fun to talk to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Adding to that, there was a Flow couple recently, that got married. And I was talking to them about, how did they connect with each other? And she actually lived in Chennai and he lived in Pune. And so they were both like, oh, I don't want to be with anyone outside of the city. But they decided, whatever, like just take a chance, this profile looks nice. And I was talking to her about like, what about his profile really attracted her to him that she decided to take this chance on someone that wasn't even in the same city. And her response to me was that he had a photograph of himself in a pool with like 2 or 3 puppies. And they just looked like they were having a really fun time. And her thought to that photo was, oh, if I'm like with this guy, then that's what my life would look like. And I really want my life to look like that. And so, let's just message this person and see what happens. And I think when you're thinking about your profile pictures, are they portraying for you, your most authentic life and a space for somebody else to come in? And to answer like Siddharth's question about group photos, a lot of times the signal that it sends to people is, my life is complete. I don't need anyone else. I've got great friends. Look at these hot girls. Look at these hot girls. We're all amazing. I don't need you. And so sometimes, that's not the best move to make. If you look really great in that photograph, please crop out all your friends. And if you can't crop them out, maybe just color them out and add some witty lines, use Instagram to edit your photos, add some witty, lines, really try and stand out in the profile that you build. I see Rupin's laughing. Tell us about it, Rupin.
You can just put like a cross on all the other people's faces.
Not it.
I'll just put like one tick on your head.
This is the one.
But I think Ronnie just texted me and he has a question. Ronnie, if you're here, are you here?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just perspective I had this app which actually helps you to swipe anywhere in the world. You can actually swipe in LA, you can swipe in Chicago, you can swipe in London, Brisbane. And I've seen a very different way people made profiles over there. Like to give my perspectives, people share their Instagram IDs in LA or in Europe. And even they are very, very, it's I mean, an off topic, but I have seen the way people post for flatmates in India and the way they post for flatmates in Europe. I mean, they are actually telling them what kind of flatmate they are and what kind of flatmate they are wanting to get in Europe. Perhaps in India, they will always describe what the flat and the amenities they have, just a way how people describe what they're trying to achieve. So with this perspective, and I mean, especially we are talking about the Indian perspective, I have seen that the females, there's culture there in dating, Indian culture is still there. Just wanted to know feedback, I mean, opinion of others upon this.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that there are going to be differences, cultural differences, not only in relationships, but also in how people communicate and what is the social norm for sharing. In some cultures, it's really normal. People use Instagram all the time. And so they feel very comfortable being able to share that information. And in other spaces, that's just really not. And I think for you, Ronnie, if you're trying to look for relationships that are international, it's very important to be cognizant of the pulse of the person that you're trying to reach out to and where they're coming from. So having that cultural awareness about, you know, this is okay and this with this person, but maybe not okay with the other person. And I think over here, you know, if ever in doubt, the best thing is always to ask. So like, you know, just be like, hey, I'm really comfortable sharing, you know, my Instagram ID. Is it okay with you? And would you like to share yours with me as well? So I think if ever you're in doubt about, you know, where to draw the lines or what's culturally appropriate, really the best thing to do in that situation is to just check in with the person that you're trying to reach out with, and see if they're okay with that. Because I think even in India, you'll find that there's a wide diversity in what people are thinking and feeling and where they draw lines. And so it's always, you just want to err on the side of caution and ask for feedback. Rupin, does that sound like something that you would do as well?
Ask for caution?
Yeah, ask for feedback, ask for input. Like, when you deal with people, you know, that are just really, you know, from a different culture or approaching something differently, like how do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, I'll probably ask like someone. Yeah, it goes in line with what you were mentioning earlier as well, right? I think, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but like I think you should consult with someone regardless of what you're doing on your profile. I have a friend of mine called Sanjay, and Sanjay told me this and he found his wife online, right? And Sanjay told me this, that when he wrote his bio, he really took the pains of not only just writing it from words that describe him authentically, but he also said, like, I also got like a female perspective, and in the same with photographs. Like he asked like a few of his friends who are women. He said, like, do you think like this seems like me authentically, and do you think like other women would like to swipe right on me? So I think with respect to even this and like how you're going to approach her and where is she from, I think it's great to have like a few people who are better than you at this, who can give you a little more insight.
Yeah, or just someone that's coming at it from a different perspective.
Right.
Okay, super.
Could I ask a question to like over here to like everyone who's joined this webinar, right? Like I think I'm guessing like Flow, everyone can message everyone like on the platform. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm guessing like the women users get a lot of messages, right? Like from the men. No. Guys.
I've noticed it depends on how active you are. Whenever I, at least personally, again for me, whenever I've taken an effort to participate on the community group chats, after that I see a whole, you know, an exponential increase in the number of personal messages. Obviously, because you have to be seen, you have to put yourself out there for people to actually know that you exist. Nobody's going to sift through hundreds and hundreds of profiles and, you know, message you. So only if you're going to put yourself out there and
about someone discovering you, but I think it's also about approachability.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
when people
Like if they see a person who's contributing, that they see that person as an approachable.
Yeah,
person.
you've already shown a bit of your personality on the group chat, so they know something, a little bit about you, a little bit of background about you. So
and they also
I
have
guess,
a great hook to talk to you about. They
yeah,
can
absolutely.
come back to you from, oh, I saw that you posted this on the community chat. Tell me more about it. Where did you find this? And actually that's a great segue into the last point that we really had to make today, which is that if you've got everything checkboxed on your profile, you've got your grammar down, you've got your 4 indicators covered, you've got a great profile picture, the last thing that you really want to do is leave people with a hook. What is it that they should talk to you about? Like, prompt them. Be like, ask me for my grandmother's biryani recipe because it's awesome and I may not give you the secret ingredient. Be like, I know the best place, to go water skiing in Hawaii, and I'll send you a YouTube video to make you want to do it too. Like, whatever it is that your interest is, that you're authentically interested in, try and give people that in your bio so that they don't have to spend the mental effort trying to think about what to say to you. Because a lot of people are messaging people on dating apps going like, hey, hi, how are you, and those messages sometimes don't get responded to. But what does get responses is something that's really authentic, and so you as the one that's building your profile, if you want to get more messages, try and make the job easy for someone else by giving them a hook of what they should say to you, what they should ask you about. And that's honestly like the best way to get. Suma, I see you have a question. Do you wanna ask your question?
No,
I was
RVSR
suggesting
already asked.
RVSR has a question. That's a very valid question, according to me, too. I suggest you just pick that up as well as a conversation.
How important is the social media, your Instagram or your Facebook or any social media profile on a dating app?
I don't, like, personally, I don't think it's very important, but also I don't have any data to back this up. So this is just my personal opinion. I don't think it's very important to have it linked to your dating app. But yeah, if you do have a profile, it makes it easier for somebody to get to know you a lot better in a shorter amount of time. So from that perspective, yes. But if you have other ways, or you're more open to sharing images, or talking to people on the phone, there are other ways to achieve that same outcome without it being social media. But you got to be proactive in terms of trying to build that connection with someone. But I don't have any data to back this up. And I don't know, Siddharth, if you've seen something else and you'd like to comment on this, maybe you could provide some more insight. But from a data perspective, I don't have anything specific to tell you about this.
I think I'll just like build on what you said. It's you have to give the other person a reason, a compelling reason to want to communicate with you. So if you are not sharing your social profiles, that's perfectly fine. You're not comfortable with it, that's absolutely fine. It's your right. And that's your personality, that's perfectly fine too. What you then need to do is to make sure that you've got something else going in your communication primarily that compels the other person to say that, hey, this is an interesting person, and they don't even think of wanting to check out your social media profile.
Yeah.
I say that.
Yeah. Sometimes people use social media as an authentication of you being a real person, because sometimes people are just like, oh, I don't know if this is like a real person, if they say who they actually are. And if you sense that it's just like a trust issue, my advice to you is a phone call. Because if people are, phone calls are quite intimate, and if they're hearing your voice, they're like having a conversation with you, it's an easy way to kind of very easily establish that there is a rapport here. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, a lot of people are not on social media, Lalit. We're all trying to detox from it. Just try and find alternate ways to build that same, connection with someone without having to spend a lot of time on Facebook and best 2 years of your life. Cool.
Absolutely. They're just time suckers, these Instagram and Facebook pages.
For sure.
Endless bits. So.
Okay, we're going to wind up. But before we do you have any last questions that you'd like Rupin or me or Siddharth, Gurpriya, any of us to address?
Hi, this is Ronnie again. I was saying you spoke about approachability and you spoke that hi or hey would not work. Would suggest if you can maybe keep another session on an opening line. You talk about profile, how you should be having the profile, how you should get people on the hook. But again, coming up with a very good opening line. I've seen this personally, it helps. Like
yeah, but this is a very I think this is such a tricky conversation start point, because like I think the question that you're trying to ask is what is the most non-awkward way to start a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, depends. Like in Hindi, you say "Jitne muh utni baatein." Like you never know what the person would want and what they are thinking right now. What is their current mood? What are they eating?
Yeah, at the same time, it will be at the same
what
time.
Are they eating?
Definitely don't do that. But I think like that you can't directly start with like a strange opening to a conversation, right? You'll be like, hey, I'll tell you why mutual funds is the best way to go about it. I'll be like, no, I don't want to talk to you.
No, I say send me your favorite music song or something like that.
Yeah, like it's a very tricky question, because like a lot of people have said like there's no way we can start a conversation with hi, hello, because my inbox, like this girl showed me her inbox and she said, just look at this, it's just hi, hello, hi, hello, hi, hello. Like how am I going to keep just saying hi to everyone? Like that's not why I came on this app, to say hi. Like that I do regularly also. Like I work in like marketing and I keep saying hi to various people. So I think the only way is like, which is why I think this whole this entire webinar really makes sense, because your profile is what is going to make you stand out from the 1,000 other people saying hi and hello. Because obviously, like I don't know what is a non-awkward way to start a conversation. Probably Dipti or Siddharth knows what they could help you with this. But I think the importance of a profile is that you can start a conversation. The other person who sees you messaging will be like, oh, this guy or this person is a little different from others, and it'll be really cool to talk to this person. And I think this whole thing what we're doing of profiles is just like the starting point. I would say it's like 1% of the entire thing that we're trying to do, right? Like the conversations that you have after that, I think is what's going to determine where you guys are headed.
Yeah, absolutely. My input here is that whatever opening line you use, even if it is hi or hello, having a great profile is really the starting point, because the person before responding to your hi or hello is going to check out your profile. So if in your profile, you've got a great hook, even if that person doesn't have a great hook in theirs, when they respond to your hi message, it makes it easier for them if they just respond with a question and then the conversation moves forward. Because I've had a lot of conversations where someone said hi to me and then I respond saying, okay, hi. And then your conversation is hi. You know, so you really need, and that's why I really recommend that everybody, male or female, try and include something in your profile that's a great hook, so that if someone is trying to have a conversation with you, regardless of whether or not you initiate that conversation, you make it easy on that person to say something. And I think what you're doing already, asking them to share a music video that they like, that's a great step. Try and build, something in common there. So you could be like, share your favorite music video with me, here's mine. And then you're already taking that, step of reaching out, which means that even if the person doesn't spend effort trying to go find a link, share a video with you, but they see that, okay, this person likes this music, you have another hook there, like a secondary hook to say, oh, I don't like this song at all. You and I have nothing in common. Let's talk about food instead. Maybe we've got something in common there. So, I think going that extra step to just make it really easy on the other person, because you're right, you don't know what state they're in. And I hate to disappoint you guys. Maybe you already know this, I don't know. But most people use dating apps in the morning on the toilet or before falling asleep. And I see you all laughing, so I know you're all exactly.
But Rupin really ducked out over there.
No, it's not. It's not even like the morning or the evening. It's just always on the toilet.
Times have changed, friend. Times have changed.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have
People falling asleep is
people checking out every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yes,
you know,
the lockdown, I'm telling you, is
Yeah, lockdown is different circumstances.
I know.
I have a suggestion over here, and it's sort of also a good way for us to wind down. So what I would probably do is I would live my life on my terms. So let's say today I'm trying a new beer, and to your point of like, here, what's your playlist, right? So let's build on that for a minute. Let's say I tried a new beer today, and it's a White Owl or an Arbor Brewing IPA, and I hated it, or I loved it. Let's say I loved it. Let's keep away from negativity. I just, send a message to a person saying, hey, I just tried this thing out here. This is my favorite beverage. I really like this. What's yours? Maybe I get a response, maybe I don't, but it's not really costing me anything, right? I mean, it's really what I did that evening. Or, oh, I just watched Ozark season 3. I just loved it. What's your favorite Netflix thing? I mean, this is stuff that I'm anyway doing. Oh, I took the 335E from Whitefield to town, and it was really the best way for me to commute today. What's
And you
something
also
interesting?
finished watching a whole series on that bus ride.
Yeah, something like that, right? So I'm just saying, like, take something that, because all of us, and I think this is sort of the confluence of the lives that we lead and our ability to communicate that in a way that is leaves those those hooks for people to come back to. And it doesn't cost me anything. There's no cognitive load on my head trying to figure out what's a good opening line or whatever. Oh, the conductor was really nice. He gave me change today. It could be anything. Or my bounce ride was horrible. Or again, stick to the positive. My bounce ride was really good, etc. So I think it just also makes dating that much more like fluid and easy and smooth, regardless of which app you're on. I mean, I'm just throwing this out as a suggestion because I would get really exhausted trying to think of witty opening lines because I can't use a copy paste. I know that doesn't work anywhere. And then also, people are, if they are going to respond in a really witty way and I've just used this sort of template, I'm going to be freaking out. I'm like, oh man, I don't know where to go from here. But if I'm just saying, I woke up this morning and I, saw a parrot making a nest outside my window. It's, not everybody's going to respond, but if it's something that attracts you to, no. My daughter's asking me if a parrot made a nest outside my house.
You really hooked her, Siddharth.
I did, so it works, right? So I think you just lead with stuff that's going on in your life and weave a particular communication narrative that makes it sound interesting. And I think, let's say that you're a person who just enjoys the simple things in life, like a parrot flying in Cotton Park. That's what the person who's attracted to something similar, there's a common sharing of values over there, and they're going to come back to you, and you're not thinking of any witty line. This witty line business, I think, is what makes dating so exhausting today.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's really hard. I mean, even Rupin himself, like the master himself, is probably like scratching his head and like trying to figure out, okay, what's the next line for me? Right?
Yeah.
And
Like I was actually going to say, like, because I do my podcast as well, right? And I talk to a few people whom I don't know at all, like sometimes from across the world. And like the beginning of the conversation, like I don't start with something that's really insanely well written or well thought of, right? But I describe where I'm at, like, which is kind of what even Siddharth was mentioning, right? But I always do this while having a conversation. Is that I throw like the word you were using, a hook to the other person to get the other person to speak, right? And I think that's just a great tool that I have found while having conversation is like try and find out as much from the other person, like just be genuinely inquisitive. Because I remember like a friend of mine was telling me about the story where he was just keep calling her and would just keep describing his day. I said, dude, I don't care about him. Like, why is he describing his day? Like he's telling me that, hey, I went and had like beer food, and I watched a movie. I said, I don't really care. Right? And that can get irritating. So I think the one thing that all of us could keep in mind while having any conversation is just learn how to be a good, and learn how you can get the other person to express themselves and wait for that person to express themselves. Sometimes it may not work, and then just move on to someone else, right? Who's willing to speak.
Okay, go for it, Gurpriya.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Siddharth said. I think that's a great way to open, which is talk about your day. Because I've seen, like, I mean, there is a thought process, which is comment on the profile, etc., which I personally think it doesn't work. Yeah, mom, my mom calling me for dinner. So yeah, I feel like every time a guy's commented on my profile, I'm like, no. And usually the comments are, "You are so Punjabi."
What?
You figured that out, but so it's never gone well. In case you figured something out about someone in their profile, don't mention. You don't know how someone's gonna take it. So if you're trying to be like, I'm gonna be the smart person who like figures them out and then tells them what they are, not a cool idea. Someone once said, "Nice to know you are actively following politics." And disturbed me how it said "nice to know." Like, thank you for the notification. So I just feel like try to tell someone what you think of their profile or what conclusions you made, rather just talk about yourself. Because
Yeah, and also unsolicited advice, that's never yeah, I've actually had a guy who was advising me on what I should do on my profile to get more, you know, responses. I'm like, A, I didn't say I had a lack of responses. B, I didn't ask for your advice. So that was so weird.
Yeah.
Did you not go back to his profile and be like, thanks for the input, here's mine for you?
I know.
That starts with, "Oh, you must be this," or "You must."
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been really fun. We've gone drastically over time now, and daughters and mothers are calling everyone to. But this was super fun. Thank you guys so much for coming out, being out here. We're going to be on the Flow Common Room. So if you want to continue this conversation, expand it to other people that weren't able to be at the webinar today, then please head to the Common Room and just, drop your comments in there. We always love to hear from you. This feedback is really valuable. Thank you so much to Rupin, who is here today helping guide and mold our conversation, helping give some inputs on what makes a great profile. You can check out his work. I will add links at the bottom of the Flow Common Room as well. You can check out his podcast, check out his links on Instagram. And Rupin, is there anywhere else that they can come and see your show right now?
Right now, everything is cancelled.
Yeah.
I'll have to do a webinar.
Online.
Yeah. Do one for us, Rupin. Do one for us.
Do a webinar. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you so much for being here today, for helping guide all of this along. As always, please rate us 5 stars on the Flow, Google Play Store or on the App Store, whatever works for you. Rating us 5 stars helps us keep this, wonderful project that we're doing going. And so we'd really appreciate your love and support. Follow us on Instagram and all other methods of social media at Flow Network. Gurpriya will send you cookies when the lockdown is over. Follows us, likes, shares, etc. Get some cookies from our side. Thank you guys for being here. This was so lovely. You can DM me on the Flow app. I'm on Flow. My name is Dipti Ramesh, if any of you are looking for me. And then on next session, I will leave the details on the Flow Common Room. So thank you so much for being here, and everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Rupin.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.